Aha! I'm just gonna pull a Yu-Gi-Oh! And just keep swapping every time it's inconvenient for me.
Ew, Yu-Gi boy. How devilish never. Ooh.
Like, there's a cooldown on the switch command, but at the same time, if they keep spamming, like, stun moves, I can just be like, okay, lol, that team's stunned, but my B team isn't.
Ew, Yu-Gi boy. Ooh. Honestly, I think it was a mistake for them to have killed off Pegasus. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement with you there.
Also, I mean, this is hot take number 2. Merrick Ishtar was not that interesting.
That entire arc was kind of dull. Like, Battle City was good. Like, as a whole, Battle City was good.
No. See, there were characters in it that I liked. For instance, the evil stage magician.
Yeah.
With the dark energy disc. I thought he was cool. And the fact that they had the mask guys who had, like, all their monsters had masks.
Yeah.
They would just, and they...
And you can just picture it.
Skyscraper.
Yeah. They had bombs on the glass panes they were standing on.
Yeah. I thought that was really cool. But Merrick himself, it was like, I'm just really sad. And it's like, that's... I mean, yeah, that's understandable.
The Pharaoh was a jerk to my ancestors, and so I live in a hole in the ground.
It's understandable, but it's like, that's not very compelling, if that makes any sense.
Yeah. Oh,
also,
nightmare.
I don't know, I don't like the fact that, like, fangirls are, like, really interested for him, probably because he wears tight leather pants.
And no shirt.
Yeah. No, he has a shirt. Once again, it's kind of a tight shirt.
Yeah.
You know, the tank top thing going on.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, those ancient Egyptian tank tops. Very important.
Wow, my attacks are still going, and he's been gone for a while.
You know, I noticed, though, that your paramour did not have a problem with ancient Egyptian tank tops, although even if she did have an objection with Yu-Gi-Oh! Itself.
I think she took it a little hard. Harder than she should have, given that Yu-Gi-Oh! Is just goofy as all get out.
Yeah, I was about to say, I was like...
Rainy Day 2, that's a good combination of powers.
I don't know how to tell you this, but collectible card games is not a thing that ancient Egyptians actually had, okay? You shouldn't have to worry about it. It's not your culture. It's not. Don't worry about it.
You know what? I call this team unbearable.
Oh my god. Are you having fun, Snek?
I always have fun. There's a general unlock order where I think you have to unlock them like full sets before the next set becomes available for unlock. So right now we're kind of in the middle of the FNAF 4 set. Now, to give you some mechanical appreciation for how messed up this team is, not only are we fighting with the broken psyche of a small, permanently disabled child who would ultimately go on to perish, Nightmare, Fredbear, and Nightmare are so dangerous that when they spawn in, all the other Nightmares despawn from the map. And the thing that happens is they take over, and they are so fast that they assume the role of every other Nightmare animatronic on the map. So your way of countering them is having to use the strategy of 4 animatronics on them at the same time, all the while trying to figure out where they are. Alright, not what I was expecting, but this does work.
was about to say, I think that's actually a decrease in
Yeah, I was
power.
about to say, mystery box is to the point where it's no longer benefiting us, so I'm just not going to use that anymore.
I mean, if modern cinema has taught me...
Not part of this.
Oh, man. You wanted a good movie? Or you could have it so that there's a reference to a good movie, but it's good. Also, a character that you really like dies. And they're probably, played by Harrison. He's gonna be like, I'm old, and I don't want to be here, but I need the money. I'm old.
That's too real, too soon.
I know. It's kind of sad, but, I get the sense that he just doesn't really want to do things anymore. I don't know. I guess it just happens to people.
Yep. I hope that when I'm a really old man, because I'm already an old man, just when I'm a really old man, I hope I'm one of those, like, fun-loving grandpas where it's just like, haha, this is fun, reminds me back in my day when I played book
we already
tag.
established that your final form is going to be a gun tank.
The gun tank grandpa Snek.
Yeah.
They're all headbanging because they just all have a really metal song in their head right now.
Got my hiding crabs in the ocean.
Lobster is
Unbearable. Unbearable. With my bare arms. The right to bear arms.
What? You mean to tell me that the Second Amendment wasn't specifically written so that I could have an army of killer animatronic teddy bears murdering my foes?
I don't think that George Washington, went across the Delaware so you could do that. Although he probably would be like, well, I mean, as long as you're not hurting any... I mean, I'm just saying, if you really want.
I'm just saying, it's good. It's a good psyop as well because your enemy just all they see is gigantic teeth to bear animatronics, and they're just like, "Are we really going to fight those things?"
I am shocked that there isn't actually a yellow Fredbear with like red shirt.
Red bear. I mean,
no, like having it be like a Winnie the Pooh knock.
Oh! I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I heard there might have been one, but something Emperor for life in China.
So are they saying that there's going to be... Does that mean giant step pyramid in the 100-acre wood?
Yeah.
Have you heard about that, by the way? About the giant step pyramid that the first emperor China had?
Yeah, I remember reading about that.
They still haven't actually excavated it because it's so... the soil around it has such high concentrations of mercury. People, there are legends that he apparently had it filled with mercury because, according to Taoist texts, mercury is a immortality drug, and so the reasoning being that, hey, if we put your body in this immortality drug, then you'll come back to life. And so I guess they did that because it's the mercury levels in that area are markedly higher than the surrounding areas, if that makes any sense.
Nope, I mean, that follows. The ancient peoples had some interesting theories, and,
No, dude, Taoism itself is... I mean, yeah, you're right, but... Oh boy. It's fascinating, but it is really weird. I guess you have to bear with it.
I mean, basically, yes. And, I know it's not stimulating because we're not really pushing the plot forward, but like I said, we need stronger characters, and, we're getting into the last couple sets that you can unlock via random encounter. Because, once you beat what was originally the final boss, you can actually unlock 8 additional characters introduced in the Halloween update. And I can do some of them. I'm not going to swear to you for an instant that I'm going to get all of them, because we already know that's not true.
This is a any percent speed run, okay?
As RNG heavy as this game is, I would feel really bad for anyone who undertook that challenge.
Hey, gracious, why don't you do FNAF World? And he'd be like, who are you? I don't know. Well, some of the games that he does, I'm like, oh, why would you do that to yourself? Like he did all of Battle Network 1.
Oh, Nightmare Foxy. Now, the funny thing about Nightmare Foxy is his mechanic worked a little differently than the other animatronics in FNAF 4. Now, what would happen is he would try to run down a hallway and dive into your closet. If you caught him in the hallway, it would actually slow him down and prevent him from getting in there.
I feel like there's a joke in there somewhere.
I mean,
how does he feel about musicals?
well, he's not much a talker, so we're not sure yet, but... Now, he'll run down the hall, and you can stop him if you're lucky, or fast. Now, once he's in the closet, he's there for the rest of the night. And what will happen is he will gradually stand up and get into an attack position. Now, if you go check on him and close the door on him, he will gradually revert down into a little Foxy plushie. And when he's a plushie, it's as far back as you can basically wind the clock to buy yourself more time. Now, with that, if you went to check on him and used your light, and he was poised to strike but wasn't quite ready to strike, it would play the jump scare sound effect regardless. So he can startle you without actually ever, like, launching from his attack position and killing you. And I had a friend who I had play the game who repeatedly had this happen and jumped and yelped every single time it happened. We have fun
Is this
here.
someone I knew?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and, she doesn't handle horror super great, so of course I make it a point to make her play horror games, because I think it's funny. And, I will say, in terms of...
I'm shaking my head right now. You can't see it, but I'm shaking my head.
Well, of course. Now, the thing I will say is, like, in terms of atmosphere, FNAF 4 is up and away the most oppressive. Like, I see why Scott got burned out and needed to do FNAF World after doing 4. Because, like, it's dark. It's grim, it's dark, it's kinda unpleasant. The cutscenes in between nights are kind of depressing.
Is that the reason why Sister Location, everything actually looks kind of bright and cutesy? And
I think he took it as a chance to move the story forward in a big way. Because there was kind of a delay, like, between 4 and essentially 5 Sister Location, with FNAF World filling the void. And he mentioned, he's like, you can only have a macabre story about killing children so much before you really just, like, it catches up to you. It becomes exhausting, mentally draining to, like, harp on that as a theme. So that's part of the reason why he made FNAF World, is because it gave him a chance to like, sidestep all that and do something fun and goofy and silly. And so...
Well, I was just gonna say, like, with my experience as a creative, it's like you can't do the same thing, you know,
Yeah.
just constantly. You have to have multiple projects going on, like things. If you're focused on one thing, you eventually will burn out, and that's not good for anybody.
He is tweaking out. Look at him go. Now the cool thing about him is
X Machine. Yeah.
Yep. He comes loaded with haunting to stun enemies, mimic ball if you don't have the chip, and gift boxes. So he's actually going to become essentially the healer for Party 1. And I'm going to use...
We're moving on from Unbearable.
Sort of. And we're going to have the Nightmare animatronics and the Crying Child round out Team 2.
Ah, yes, because what we need to do is we need to have a small, defenseless child and just horrifying monsters around them.
Somehow I'm missing one of the withered animatronics. How weird.
Golden Freddy, it's B.
Yep.
Risa!
Oh, good. It's the heroic type. Now, this late in the game, moves like cupcakes are kind of worthless just because, like, your HP pools are so high. So using gift boxes as your healing is not a bad strategy. And now that we're not relying on the stat chips as much, we can use things like Power Song and Armor Song to their maximum, like, full capacity. So really, most of my teams going forward are going to look similar to this, with like 3 big attackers and then a 4th for healing purposes. I think one of the differences in things like Speed Song and Power Song versus like Armor Song is the later versions I think last longer. But I think it's still, like, the same fundamental amount in terms of how much it busts your stats.
Nope. What exactly is happening?
Happening with what?
What happening with Unscrew? Are you, like, unscrewing their head?
I'm assuming we're just taking their, like... They're all supposed to be robots, so we're supposed to just, like, literally be dismantling them. Now, as I said earlier, in one of the earlier videos, each area kind of has its own, like, recruitment list. So, whoever I missed back in that list, I think it was Withered Bonnie and Phantom Mangle, I would just have to go to an earlier part of the game and walk around for a bit to see if I could get them to pop up. I'd be willing to bet that the mine or the dusting field is probably whereabouts they'll spawn in.
Which is surprising considering how often you are in those areas.
Like I said, our luck this go-around has been really shoddy. Really, really not impressed. That's okay.
Super Ghost Kamikaze attack! The Grim Reaper of Justice is here!
Oh, good. It's Captain Annoying Pants.
Well, you don't like Gotenks?
No.
No, I don't know it either. It's kind of... He's entertaining, but you gotta use him sparingly, and the Majin Buu arc just was like, really, really wanted to push him. And I don't know, I just didn't really like the wave. I'm gonna be... Okay, this is time for Titaku's Hot Takes number... You ready for this, there, Snek?
Alright, fire away.
Alright, Majin Buu arc is overrated. Gohan's not a good protagonist. And just... It dragged on way too long, and... It just really is presented poorly because when they finally do beat Boo, then they're like, oh, Boo comes back, but he's a good guy.
But,
and that's it.
And
What do you
also
mean,
Oob.
That's it. That's it. What do you mean that's it? That's the end of the series. That's it. They had like 3 different parts where they could have just ended the series, and it would have been a good, you know, solid conclusion. But he just ends the series with, oh, yeah, that's it. That's it, I'm done. Like, are you kidding me? That's how you're gonna do it. That's how you're gonna finally end the series. That's the reason why, I mean, I could have the entire series collected. I love Dragon Ball, but it's just frustrates me to no end when people like, oh, Majin Buu is so good. Like,
dude,
no,
I played a Buu throughout Xenoverse 2, and even I'm like, no, Majin Buu arc was a mistake.
It's a mess. I mean, he's a fun character, but like,
the arc
why
itself.
Why do we need like 5 different versions of him? Why do we need, you know, like, it just dragged on too long. And which is unfortunate because like the very beginning of it, when it was Babidi and Dabura trying to, you know, maneuver ways around heroes.
I was waiting for her.
She's meta too, as I recall.
Yep. She has a very powerful attack that I think she only shares with one other character, a very strong healing ability, and I forget if she has gift boxes as well, but regardless, she's one that you want.
So, yeah. It's just saddens me. But then again, the state of Dragon Ball discussion, it just kind of saddens me because it either boils down to, you know, what's the character arc of, you know, oh boy, I'm Goku, time to punch things. And, oh man, it's the power level. I want you to know, the power level doesn't matter because it's as high or as low as it needs to be for it to be dramatically appropriate, okay? I was never bothered by the, like, in Super, I've seen so many people who are like, oh, Krillin would never stand Goku Super Saiyan Triangle. Guys, first off, they're gonna use that for that's the new hotness. Of course Goku's transformed to Super Saiyan Triangle when he's fighting Krillin, because that's the latest form he has. He has to do it. And he's, of course, Krillin is going to fight him like that, because, I mean, Goku's not going to kill his best friend. He's not going to go all out. That's the reason why I feel like I get what Toriyama did in terms of trying to, you know, reducing battles down to numbers, you know, makes it easy to, you know, understand, but it also is incredibly reductive in terms of more, you know, just what it allows you to do in terms of how you understand the battle, if that makes any sense. But there's just a certain subset, a very vocal subset of the community, and I to use that word because I mean they're the fandom, quote unquote, and they're really into.
Remember, class, you can't spell fandom without dumb.
Yeah, and so it's like, we don't even know what the metric is. They never explain what they're like, oh, power level 5. It's like, what metric determine power? They never explain that, which is something you'd think that they would want to know.
Seems like important information to, you know, explain how the system works.
Yes.
Otherwise, you just kind of have numbers floating in a void where it's like, there's a quote I heard where it's like, is 5 a lot? It's like, is 5 a lot? That depends on what you're talking about. Is 5 a lot of dollars? No. Is 5 a lot of bullets to be coming your way? Yes.
5 a lot of children to have? Yes. 5 a lot of cats to have? Goodness me, yes.
That is a concerning number of cats, to quote
Yes.
a certain cartoon.
Yes, I was about to say, it's like, I feel like there needs to be an intervention if that works. I mean, I like cats too, but goodness gracious, that's a lot. So, yeah, I mean, you might... I will say this. Dragon Ball is very influential on my own creative things. I know that's probably good that you're sitting down. I'm sure
No.
that's shocking you. And I mean, I have my own quote-unquote, power levels. However, it's not, the numbers don't get absolutely ridiculous, and it's just a model, ladies and gentlemen. It's just, here's the thing, the main character actually has, in my works, has really low quote-unquote battle power, because battle power does not take into account certain subsets of supernatural abilities. Magic cannot be quantified because it relies on emotion, and I hate to break it to you, psychologists, but you can't put a number on emotions. As much as I'm sure there's some social scientists out there, my happiness, your happiness versus someone else's happiness.
That only works in Dwarf Fortress and usually results in everything dying in magma.
Yeah, so you can't. And so there are entire subsets of, especially like magic, that you can't quantify. So you cannot model them using a number. Well, why have that then? I mean, it's as I say, it's a model. It's just a comparison. Is it perfectly accurate? No, but I mean, what is really?
Well, me, all the time.
Oh, of course. Of course, I'm sorry. Just, our mathematics is not caught up to you. Right? You are above curve.
That is true.
No.
I can't help it. I'm always right, and usually somewhere between 8 and 16 months ahead of everyone else.
Yes, it's hard to be that ahead.
I know, it really is.
See, you're out of touch. You're out of time, but that's because you're ahead of things.
That's right, that's how it works. Not because I'm an old man who has no idea what's going on anymore.
Well, you know what they say, everything old is new again.
That's true.
I mean, just, it's like, I was...
Nice. I also wanted to find you.
It's like, people are calling each other y'all folks again, and it's like, wait, did we go back to the 19th century? Is
That's Spring Bonnie.
Red? I was about to say that looks like Red Bear and Bonnie had a very unfortunate youth.
No, that's the original Bonnie, actually. At least as near as we know. Yeah, apparently when the restaurant opened, it was just Freddy and Bonnie, and Chica and Foxy got added somewhere down the line. Excellent.
I just imagine there's some very unfortunate person who's got a voice. Kind of sounds like this, and they're like, I really want a robot. Just want a robot because I'm very lonely.
Oof.
I just want a pirate robot. I have very specific tastes.
Yes, you do, hypothetical straw man. Yes, you do.
Oh, I'm hypothetical.
I think we just added a new character to the Snek skits. Okay, real quick.
Hypothetical straw man.
I cannot afford the most expensive one, but I can get us a bit of a defense buff. I actually thought that was cheaper than 9,000 tokens. That's okay. Any
Have you actually had Strawman show up yet?
I have not. I don't think I've actually designed him yet. I had a character who I could easily modify into him. Now, let me think. Because...
About to say, I'm gonna actually kind of hungry.
Alright. Well, we'll take a break here and just call this the filler episode. And,
No, give me like an hour, get some food, and we can continue. Or we could do what we're talking about here, Castlevania.
yeah, that could be fun.
Alright, so I'm gonna hop off, and I will see you here in a little bit.
Alright, see you, dude. I'm just gonna shut up and attempt to find, for your entertainment, the bonus boss. Now, the easiest way of doing that is to go to the funhouse and not move. That sounds counterintuitive, but it's a boss encounter that will actually only target you if you're not moving. So we're going to see how well this video turns out.